Explaining what's happening, fam. L.A.R. movement still moving. Explaining America's racism hustle. Now, because I don't want to hold this thing up all this time, I'm gonna show you something, but I'm gonna get into it, right? So I'm gonna show you something I've talked about in a video a long time ago. I'm just waiting on this part of the document to cut off. But can you see this? See that? What does that say? Now, the funny part about this is it has a caption on top of it, right? And I'm gonna get to the caption in a second. Now, it's state of Missouri, right? Old license. Now, racism I talked about a long time ago was about money. It's still about money to this day. And this is why I say it's a hustle. And this is why when people say, oh, you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're blah, 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 I don't listen to what the fuck they talking about. And you can use, and I'm going to use almost every group I can right now. So let's get into it. First is Native Americans. The United States of America is Native American land. This is Indian land. I don't give a fuck I don't care what state you in. I don't care what city you in. I don't care what streets you on. I don't care what subdivision you in. I don't care from sea to shining sea. This is really Indian land. Nobody paid Indians for shit. Nobody uh, uh, um, nobody they gave them reparations, but you don't see any Indian Native American real estate moguls because that shit everything you own, everything you may own or living on is 99.99% of the time stolen. Even though you're paying for some shit to some company that says they own some shit that was already stolen. But during the process of being able to steal the land, Native Americans were hunted. You know, they used to have like $5 to kill an Indian just because they was Indian. Why? Because you need to kill them off to steal their shit. So of course they were public enemy number one. You know, you got to get rid of the people who own it. You know, that's like somebody coming into your house. They came to visit and you gave them some food for Thanksgiving and they fucking killed you and your family and went hunting for your relatives because you couldn't really necessarily own the house. You can live in the house with no repercussions if you killed the family, but when the when that family's other family finds out, well, shit, you might have to pay a price, so you got to go hunting the other family. So they were public enemy number one. So that racism was about land, resources, money, which in turn turns into money. My people, black people, racism is about what? Money. He's always talking about slavery. Slavery's over. I know slavery's over, but slavery was the institution of creating wealth, right? That's the one thing. That's money. The second thing, when I showed you that license a few minutes ago, was this. That was probably during the era of Reconstruction, early 1900s. You know what I'm saying? And or past that because if it's a whole white man, it could have started then and went on for years and years and years. So I don't know how fucking old a license is, but that's about money because black people really are the only people in America who had a history of completely separating, building their own economy in America, and taking their resources and building their own communities. That's where you get the Rosewoods, the Winston Salems, the Black Wall Streets, the Harlem Renaissance, the Oklahoma City bombings, and all that shit. You know, Chicago race riots, uh, the various black communities that were from the early 1900s to which probably slowly decimated to in the 60s to 70s. You know, that's where all that shit comes from. Because for one, it had to steal our independence because our independence and separation was fucking up the money that people were used to. Also, the patent office, was used for uh, basically stealing ingenuity and innovation and commoditizing it. So, because think about it, if black people didn't have to go to white people to patent shit, and you just had to pay for the shit people created, do you know how many things that we would own in this country? You know how many businesses and multi-billion-dollar corporations that we would be running in this country? It'll financially bankrupt this place. They knew that early on. So, and you see a lot of what goes on now is either stifling or harnessing our creativity and innovation and ingenuity to filter it into a non-black business realm to to uh, to profit their communities. And if we stop doing that, we still enemy because we still in pockets keep trying to push forward to get our own shit and get away and separate. That's why integration was so wrong, so wrong. Now past that, sorry, I'm not for. I think I got a goddamn toothache. Oh. Um, right now, people are hot on Muslims, which AKA really means Arabs to me. Why? Well, oil makes money. They didn't care about Arabs when Arabs were poor. Now Arabs are the enemy because that oil makes money. Dubai is rich from oil, right? The Middle East, quote unquote, is rich from oil. And so we can't get that oil for free, so we hate them motherfuckers. Pretty much. Let's go to Iraq to fight, get weapons of mass destruction. And people are like, that's just about oil. No, it's not. It's about freedom. No, it's about oil. You get it for cheap. You can steal it. You can commoditize it. You can profit off of it. And bingo, bango. Because remember, before all that, it was a quote unquote gas shortage. Now you went to Iraq and got this fucking oil. Ain't a gas shortage no more, but the price is still high as a bitch, right? Okay. So why are they keeping the prices high? Money. Thus, going to illegal immigration, right? Quote unquote means for Mexicans. It was cool when Mexicans were your skilled labor force that you was paying under the table, fucking over, not not having to actually pay real working wages of real Americans, right? And then when Mexicans started, making a little bit more money or coming together as a group and using group economics and building off of each other, then they became illegal immigrants and illegal aliens, and we hate the motherfuckers, and come speak the language, and what the fuck you doing here? You shouldn't. I mean, and should they be here illegally? No, no, no. I mean, under the laws of this country, no. But even though the country was founded illegally, if you want to go by law, but that's a whole nother fucking story, right? Should they be here illegally getting amnesty? No, no, no. I get that. But when you was paying them on the cheap and getting rich off of them, it was cool. Now that you might have to actually pay them real wages, you don't like them no more. Money. Jewish people, white people to me, they are white people, but Jewish people. Why do people hate Jewish people? Because when you talk about Jews, they got the media, blah 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 blah, and all that generates to them motherfuckers got money. They got the diamond trade, they got the media, they stick together, they're bankers and shit, and and people hate them because of what they do with their money. They create all this conflict. Maybe they do. They do this, they do that. Yeah. And it's funny how the same white people that hate Jews are the same ones that bank with Jews, are the same ones that buy diamonds from Jews, are the same ones that work and all these media outlets with Jews, but you fucking hate them. Same ones get paid by Jews, but you fucking hate them. Like, that's so funny. But you hate that they're making more money than you. Asians, who will, eventually be the next on the list. They're not completely the next on the list, but they're almost the next on the list. Because we owe China fucking money. Because going to war to get that oil, to get Arab money, we had to pay China for it, right? So we had to make concessions to China. Thus, to me, the war on Afghanistan, which was the war for heroin, which, if I can't get the money, if I can't pay you back legally, get all this heroin, y'all like heroin over there, pay you in heroin or heroin money or heroin proceeds, and we can kind of even this shit out. But if I can't even pay you, if I owe you money and I can't pay you off with this heroin money due to interest, I'm gonna hate your guts too because of money. That to me is the American hustle. If Polynesians did something phenomenal, they hate the motherfuckers too. Think about it. You take that mindset to Australia. They hate Aborigines because they were Aborigines because that's their fucking land, right? Until they could steal all their land and all their resources from them, then, they're not really cool people, but then it's died down a little bit because I stole everything that was yours and now I'm driving around in a Bentley because of it. You know what? You're all right now. No, that's money. The hatred stems from money. We can talk about the physiological aspects of people being jealous of this and that and insecurities of this and that, which is all true. But at the end of the day, all this America's racism usually stems from somebody wanting more and feeling entitled to having more and a better lifestyle than another person. That's my thoughts.